I just want to go ahead and welcome everybody to the presentation this afternoon for the live demonstration for the Green Economy board game. I'm very excited to have everybody here, so thanks again for tuning in. My name is Scott Cooney. I'm the founder and principal of greenbusinessowner.com and the developer of this board game that I'm going to be demoing a little bit today. Hope you guys find it enjoyable and fun and entertaining. The picture here is from the very first game that we played. I'm seated there in the middle between Shauna Trevena, who's an author and the head of the Sustainability Association of Hawaii, and Stuart Candy over on the right, who is a PhD futurist from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. So I've had a lot of great people to help me with the prototype and with the playtesting. We've been playtesting this for about a year. So this is the prototype. The objective of the game is simply to be the player with the best overall triple bottom line return on their investment. You can see the basic layout of the board. It's going to be kind of an ocean with the Hawaiian Islands on it. There's a professional designer working on the game right now, so we'll have a very beautiful board, and obviously all the cards and everything will be redesigned with through a professional service firm. But just to give you an idea of what the game kind of looks like, players are impact investors. If you guys haven't heard that term, it's basically a way that investors can get a financial return on their investment, but also have some sort of an environmental or social impact as well, and it's a field that has come to be known as impact investing. So players are impact investors in the state of Hawaii looking to help the state go green. They accumulate money, they help create green-collar jobs, and they earn eco-credits for some sustainability criteria, which we'll talk about here in a sec. So the difference between our game and a couple other games, I just put in screenshots of a bunch of other games at the bottom down here, but you can kind of tell there's just tons of war and there's tons of competition and there's a lot of cutthroat lessons that are being learned in these games. I mean, just think about Monopoly. Monopoly, the point of the game is to drive everyone else bankrupt and get filthy rich. You know, it's not the best lesson around capitalism, so we think that our game teaches co-opetition, it bridges communities, it creates green jobs. We're producing this as a zero-waste game, so we are working towards having a game that you basically, if you don't like it, you can chuck it in your compost bin and it'll turn into soil. We hope that will never happen, but that's what we're shooting for. We're looking at valuable lessons for the new economy, for students, for people seeking jobs, for people wanting to get into kind of the green economy and do some good with their careers. And the words that we've heard are just wonderful. So we're always getting great feedback. We've heard inspiring, we've heard super fun, we've heard so right on. Dr. Kevin Danaher, who is the founder of Global Exchange and the head of the Green Festivals, co-founder of the Green Festivals, and his comment on the game was that this game will change the world. Now, Kevin is very gifted in terms of overstatement, so I took that with a grain of salt, but he really did enjoy it and thought it was a really interesting way to teach people about the green economy. So people often ask, why Hawaii? So Hawaii makes a great case study in terms of sustainability. We get 90% of our electricity here on the islands from burning imported oil. It's a very unsustainable path, and it leads to the most expensive utility rates in the country. We pay almost 3 times as much as everyone else for our electricity. Here in Hawaii, we also import about 85% of our food, and we obviously have a very small set of islands, very little land, so what do we do with all the trash that we're generating? So these are the 3 main issues that we tackle in this game. Let's touch a little bit on green careers and what happens in this game. So in essence, there is one deck of cards, which is a human resource deck. And in this human resource deck, there are different green human resources, in essence. There's a clean tech engineer entrepreneur, there's a biological entrepreneur, there's a green building entrepreneur, there are green collar workers, there's ecotourism and hospitality entrepreneurs, there are sustainable food entrepreneurs, and there are alternative transportation entrepreneurs. And these are the basic green career tracks that people can follow. And these are the basic businesses that people can invest in the game. So once you've got your human resource cards, you can invest in certain businesses that require those human resources to get started. So the game covers a couple of different major fields, as I said, a couple of different career tracks, one of which is clean tech. So you have a couple of different clean tech businesses, like a geothermal plant. There's a seawater air conditioning project in Honolulu County, and there's a 100 megawatt wind farm on Maui County. So let's just talk about this one just for a moment, the 30 megawatt geothermal plant on the island of Hawaii. To get this particular business started, players would need a variety of resources. you'd see in the green circle, you identify that this business property, and if you're interested in investing in this, it's sitting on the side and you can invest in it if you have the right resources for it. You can see that it's on the island of Hawaii, the big island, so that's the green circle, and that you need a piece of land to get this business started. Obviously a geothermal plant, you're going to need some land to put that on. First resource you need is a land lease, so you go ahead and purchase a land lease to get this going, and you need to do it in the right county. The second piece that you need is a permit, so you need to have an approved permit to do your building. You then need 3 green-collar workers to get this thing started, and 1 clean tech engineer entrepreneur. And then, of course, you need money to do it as well. If you don't have a clean tech engineer entrepreneur, there's a sort of a wild card. It's called the Green MBA. And you can play this card to start any business. There's only a handful of Green MBAs in the deck. They're obviously a very valuable card. The investment and reward is also on the business. So the investment in this case is $250,000 and the dividend is $25,000. And so you invest $25,000 at the beginning, and then every round after that you're collecting $25,000 in dividends. Pretty straightforward. In order to get your permit, there's kind of some real-world implications to this too. You pay an application fee of $10,000 in the game, and then on your next turn, after it's been reviewed, you roll a die. If you get a 1 through a 5, your permit's approved. If you get a 6, well, it's been delayed until another round. So the odds are in your favor, but sometimes it just doesn't quite work out. And there's other ways to get permits as well, but this is the main one. And as I said, this is very real life. So this is the Puna geothermal venture on the island of Hawaii. This is where I modeled this particular business investment. It's a 30 megawatt geothermal plant, produces about 30% of that county's electricity needs. Now, is the $250K and $25K in dividends realistic? Well, we'll see. The idea is, as an investor, you can always invest in part of a business. You could potentially own 10% of this thing. Obviously, a geothermal plant that is 30 megawatts will cost you a heck of a lot more than $250,000. Okay, there's also a deck of cards called random events. And so in this particular random event that happens, the state announces a clean tech incubator. Many other states, cities, and municipalities have done this, and it sort of churns out interest in clean tech businesses. So in this particular case, all players would draw an extra clean tech engineer entrepreneur card and 2 green collar workers, and then they would also roll a die, and if they get a 5 or a 6, they get a pre-approved permit. They don't even have to apply for it. So this is something that sort of lubricates the state's conversion to a clean tech economy. So in essence, this is trying to play on real world in terms of what an incubator might do. The second major industry that we cover, of course, is sustainable and local food. So businesses that you can invest in this particular arena are organic farms, garden supply stores, farmers markets, aquaculture farms, that sort of thing. Things that produce local food. These are a little bit simpler than some of the clean tech businesses for obvious reasons. So, for example, to create a farmer's market, all you need is a sustainable food entrepreneur, and you can see that that's the symbol on that card is a taro plant, and taro is obviously a big part of the transition in Hawaii back to a local food economy. So, a sustainable food entrepreneur and 1 green collar worker, $25,000, and bing bang boom, you've got yourself a farmer's market. You can also start a garden supply store, so you use a biological entrepreneur, somebody who can help people set up their gardens and that sort of thing, and a green collar worker, and $75,000, and you're in business. You have a garden supply store now on Kauai County. So this is also based in real life. So this particular business I built around Aia's Garden, which is a garden supply store in Kauai. And they sell a lot of stuff that help people produce their own food in their backyard. So there's also this concept in the green economy that a rising tide lifts all ships. And so one green business kind of helps another green business because it's educating consumers about sustainability and health and all those kinds of things. And so obviously if somebody starts a farmer's market and you have an organic farm, it's going to benefit you because then you can sell your produce direct to consumers and you can make a better margin. So at the bottom of the card, it's a little bit hard to see, but in the green circle, when someone starts a farmer's market, you draw an extra resource card. So in essence, your organic farm maybe gets a volunteer because you're at the farmer's market and you're meeting people, and so you're drawing an extra resource card. You also have to navigate public policy. So there's a deck, aside from the random event deck, there's actually a policy deck, and the policy cards stay in play for a number of rounds, as they should. And so in this particular public policy card, the state governor follows Michelle Obama's lead in the crusade against childhood obesity and garden stores gain an extra $10,000 in annual dividends. So all of a sudden now a garden store looks like a wonderful investment because you're investing $75,000 and you're getting a $17,000 dividend every year in return. So you're making almost 20-25% return on investment year over year. Without this card, the investment's not as good. It's about 9%. So that's, again, trying to be realistic, and obviously Michelle Obama's crusade has been very good for the backyard garden industry. The third main industry that we cover in the game, and this is the last one, is waste. So a couple of different businesses you can start in this arena: the auto salvage, an architectural salvage, an outdoor gear consignment store, or a green builder that does homes and remodels and obviously has a lot less waste than a traditional builder. So all of these things offset waste sent to the landfill. For an architectural salvage business, you just need a green building entrepreneur, a land lease, and again, you got to line that up with which county you're in. So this one's in Honolulu County. You have 2 green collar workers and $50,000, and you're in business doing architectural salvage. Now you're harvesting stuff, doing demolition and deconstruction, harvesting usable stuff out of buildings that are going to be repurposed, and then turning around and selling those usable things, whether they're doors, windows, toilets, sinks, countertops, whatever they are. You're harvesting them and then turning them around and reselling them instead of sending them off to the landfill. This, again, is built on a very real-life business here in Oahu. It's Reuse Hawaii. They have a giant warehouse, and that's exactly what they do. They just harvest usable stuff out of older buildings, and they turn around and just create a warehouse, and people go in and they buy whatever they need. And again, there's public policy that relates to zero waste and waste reduction. So you can see in the red circle with the line through it over here on the right, you can see that this architectural salvage business helps the state offset 2 dump trucks full of trash going to the landfill. So the icons are very simplistic, but gets the point across. So for each dump truck, you're earning an extra $5,000 in annual dividends. So every round during your turn, you're collecting an extra, for this business, an extra $10,000. There's also a whole slew of chance cards, and so these are cards that you keep in your hand and you use them strategically throughout the game. So in one card, we're trying to incorporate some of the culture here locally. The Kapuna, the Hawaiian Elder, gives you a blessing, and you use sort of your magic wand, and you go through the policy deck, and you pick which policy comes out next. So if you happen to have started a bunch of businesses that have dump trucks full of waste being offset, you might want to pull out that zero waste card and put it right on the top, and then the next turn, when the next policy card is picked, that's going to be the policy that goes into play for the next couple of years. There's also a chance card called Enroll in a Green MBA program. So as I mentioned before, the Green MBA serves as a wild card and can cover for other businesses, other human resources that you need throughout the game. So you can convert 2 of your human resources, whether it's an alternative transportation entrepreneur or a green building entrepreneur or a green collar worker, doesn't really matter. You can convert 2 of them with this card into green MBAs by sending them back to school, in essence. There's also this woofing card. It's willing workers on organic farms. So that's the card off to the right here. And so if you've started an organic farm or an aquaculture farm, you can list your farm on the woofing website and you get volunteers. And so with this card, you draw 2 extra resource cards, and again, they could be green collar workers or they could be green MBAs. So that's basically it. So here's how you win-win in this game, and we like to talk about the win-win in the green economy. So win-winning in this game is a triple bottom line return. So on the left, you see you're creating jobs. So you have all those resource cards that you've played throughout the game, and you're getting credit for each job that you're creating. In the middle, you get credits also for the environmental offsets that you do, whether it's a barrel of oil that you've helped the state offset and reduce its electricity needs, or if it's a can of processed food that's being brought in that you're helping the state offset by starting a farm or something along those lines, or if it's a dump truck of waste sent to the landfill. So you're getting credits for those. And then finally off to the right, you're basically making money as well. So it's a triple bottom line of people, planet, profit. And at the end of the game, you just add up the cumulative ranks. So if you do really well in one area, you get ranked really high. If you do really poorly in another area, you get ranked really low, but it's your average rank that determines who wins the game. So we just play for 5 rounds, and then whoever's doing the best in the triple bottom line return wins the game. Thanks for watching our video demo on the Green Economy board game. For more information, simply visit www.greenbusinessowner.com or contact us at info@greenbusinessowner.com. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.